who we have coming up at 9:30 Eastern today on this very program, Eddie George, to talk about many things, including the Titans. Mike T., you were vocal about the Jets needing to bench Zach Wilson. How would benching Zach Wilson be not only beneficial to the Jets, but Zach Wilson as well?
Well, first of all, Robert Saleh does not have any other choice. This is an absolute no-brainer. This is an opportunity for Robert Saleh to establish himself as a credible long-term NFL. Go out to practice as your starter. Candidly, he should be their third string. Mike White and Joe Flacco should battle out. He didn't play well. When you can't complete a pass behind the line of scrimmage, which is what a good high school quarterback could do, you don't deserve to play. And it's clear by looking at his teammates' comments, Garrett Wilson, their body language, what Zach Wilson said. He clearly has no idea what it's like to be an accountable teammate. And Jay Will Key, you guys know as former players, like, there is an ecosystem in a locker room of losing the trust and respect of your teammates. And the only way you're going to learn that lesson is by being benched and over time earning it back. And the way you earn it back is you stack one good practice day on top of the next. But there is no way in good conscience that Robert Saleh could go out there on Sunday with Zach Wilson as your quarterback. And one other thing, in this market, guys, which you guys all know, if Zach Wilson plays in MetLife on Sunday, the first incomplete pass, could you imagine what the crowd's going to be like?
Well, there's nothing wrong with making him earn it back over time. I actually think that's a good exercise for Zach Wilson to go through because, frankly, Mike T., like, nothing is given to you in professional sports. Like, you have to go out there and take it, regardless of whether you're the second pick. I mean, we were just talking about James Wiseman, who was the second pick in the NBA draft, playing in the G League for the Golden State Warriors. And people are, like, baffled. I'm like, yeah, sometimes these things occur. And it's his job to fight his way out of it to get back on the court. And you would ask the same thing if Zach Wilson is that player for the Jets long term. Then be that guy. Fight your way out of it. Claw back. Don't you want to see that character-wise from your starting quarterback?
Yeah, that's exactly right. In this market especially, like, you have to go earn it, and he doesn't deserve to play. The NFL is the ultimate meritocracy, and because of that, he hasn't earned the right to play. And if you put him out there, the next time somebody shows up late, is overweight, or all the other reasons you could get fined and be held accountable in the NFL, that player's going to walk into the head coach and say, you can't hold me accountable because you're not holding that guy accountable.
Mike T., once upon a time. Go ahead, Key. Go ahead.
The thing, Mike, with this, because it's such a fragile, fresh situation, I don't know that I would sit him down today. I may sit him down tomorrow. I may let him go into MetLife with the booze and sit him down, because if you sit him down now opposed to the second quarter of the Chicago Bear game, and now you go with a veteran and Joe Flacco, you're sending a different type of message. If you send a message where all of a sudden, and we've been together in the Glenn Foley days, when Glenn Foley was a bench because Vinny was better and Glenn wasn't doing what we needed to get done. And we had a championship-type team. But that was a veteran player opposed to a young dude who may not be able to recover from you benching him right now. Bench him later on, but I wouldn't do it right now. I'd wait and see what happens in the Chicago game.
So, meantime, Key, you were with the Jets when Mike T. was GM, general manager of the New York Football Jets. Mike T., you went out and did something when you were GM, which the Jets sorely needed. You went out and got the best, most talented available quarterback. By hook or by crook, you talk about this all the time. You were not going to let him not be the quarterback of the Jets. At the time, that was Brett Favre. There's another quarterback out of Green Bay right now who succeeded Favre, who does not seem very happy with his present situation. Could Aaron Rodgers possibly be to the Jets, considering the young talent on that team, what Stafford was to the Rams last year?
Absolutely. I mean, why not? Like, if you connect the dots, like if Aaron Rodgers wants to keep playing after this year, certainly Green Bay's probably more in a rebuild. Jets have a great defense. It's not inconceivable. Now, Aaron Rodgers has expressed proclivities about the West Coast for a number of reasons, but I certainly, if I'm the Jets, guys, the verb I'm going to use is scour. I'm going to look at Daniel Jones. I'm going to look at Aaron Rodgers. Tom Brady's a free agent. Could you imagine Tom Brady as a New York Jet? But there is no way you could sit there if you're the New York Jets who have put together a really good roster and say that, hey, we could go win a championship with Zach Wilson. And to me, you're going to look at any and all possibilities, including Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
the next follow-up question is, Mike T, like, if you were Aaron Rodgers or represented Aaron Rodgers, you think he should want out of Green Bay?
You know, being in Aaron Rodgers' head and Jay Will between those ears, that's a unique place to be. I don't know what is going to make him fulfilled. I know in trading for Brett Favre, Brett was hard-pressed to show the world that I could still play. They want to play this other guy named, ironically, Aaron Rodgers, but I'm still a great player, and I want to keep going. So I don't know what's going to make Aaron Rodgers fulfilled. I don't know if it's his legacy, change of scenery, geography, West Coast, but if you're running a team and unless you're sure about who your quarterback is, you have to look into it.
Yeah, there's four guys that I would take a look at, obviously. One would be Aaron Rodgers, Daniel Jones sitting right down the street. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Garoppolo will be a free agent. Take a sneak peek at him because Mike has some, familiarity. They have familiarity with him. And then I would look at what the Raiders would do with Carr. Those are the guys that I would take a look at that's in the veteran marketplace if they can get him to do kind of the Matthew Stafford situation.
That makes sense. From Rodgers' point of view, Mike T, from Aaron Rodgers' point of view, Keyshawn J. Willimax, ESPN Radio. When you survey the landscape, last year there was a lot of talk. Well, maybe the Broncos. No, he'd be better on this team. And I looked at the Packers and I thought, actually, when they had Devontae Adams, those teams might not be any better than the Packers overall. Maybe he should just stay put. Again, he's structured his contract where at the end of this year, we could go through this whole thing again, right? When you survey the landscape heading into next season, where do you think Aaron Rodgers makes the most sense? You look at a team and you go, oh, my God, if they had Aaron Rodgers.
One could certainly be New Orleans. New Orleans has a really good defense, and they have a big question mark at quarterback. Look, there's going to be some other really interesting situations, like Tampa Bay. What happens if Tom Brady leaves there? Could you imagine if Tampa Bay goes from Tom Brady to Aaron Rodgers?
I got one, but everyone would say I'm crazy.
That's crazy, Max.
If they don't like
Jimmy
make a
G,
deep
you're
run
about
this
to put
year.
Jimmy G back on
No,
Tampa?
no. I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers. Let's see what Dak does in the playoffs this year with that Cowboys defense and all those weapons. Could you imagine that one?
Probably too much money, though.
Maybe, but could you imagine?
What about Tom Brady having a homecoming in San Francisco?
Oof. He gives Jimmy G the boot again.
Yeah, why y'all keep
can't take this guy's
y'all
job.
just throwing names of teams out there? Don't fall
Yes.
into that trap.
Why
Mike
not?
T, Mike Tannenbaum joining us this morning on Keyshawn J. Will and Max.
It's so much fun, though, Key.
Yeah, I know. Look, are the Chicago Bears doing a disservice to Justin Fields at all by the way that they're utilizing him? Or is it what you have to do with a guy like this?
Yeah, okay, it's a really interesting question. I saw Justin Fields up close and personal in the scouting process, worried about that. And one of the things he's going to have to learn, Key, is when to slide, when not to take a hit, because if not, he's not going to be able to survive. And he is so talented. He has such a high ceiling that, one, you got to invest the offensive line, but two, you have to work with him in a very meaningful way to know, hey, it's 3rd and 6, yeah, you're going to put your head down, but there's a time and a place, because if not, Key, I understand your point. He's just not going to have, back-to-back 17-game seasons because of his play style.
You think all the running is taking a toll?
It already has. I mean, he has a dislocated left shoulder. I mean, just think about if you're the Bear organization, you have a real reasonable chance to go beat the Jets in what would be a low-scoring game. If he doesn't play this week, you think...
Do you play him? Do you play him, Mike?
If he's healthy...
Things of that nature, I put this on the coaching staff because they are the ones that are calling the plays, the design runs. They're the ones who's deciding to do this, opposed to him dropping back and taking off on his own when nothing's there. I mean, that particular play that he got hurt on, that was a quarterback sweep. That was called by the offensive coordinator. It wasn't something that he decided to do.
Yeah, but
they've got to protect him.
If you watch this play, though, I mean, he's running out of bounds. It's just like it's like a weird fall. Yeah. Like it's not like one of these plays.
Remember who this happened to last year? Kyler Murray, non-throwing shoulder, hurt it. They were like 6-0, 7-0, something crazy like that. And I think 2 years ago, And it wasn't the same the rest of the season because it was 2 years ago. Because of the non-throwing shoulder injury, they stopped running him so much, and then the offense went to pieces, and they didn't wind up winning. The difference between this guy and Kyler Murray is Kyler Murray's so small, that may continue to happen. But you look at Justin Fields, as you said, Mike T, he's a big, strong guy. If he learned, not that it happened on that play, but if he makes sure to run with a little less Josh Allen and a little more Lamar Jackson, that's better for him, right? Like, let's not use that size to seek out contact. Let's slide.
Yeah, again, it's a combination of all those things. Like, if Justin Fields is in the game, you're going to call running plays. Like, that plays to his strength, but it has to be managed well, because if not, like, again, like, look at the organization. They have no chance to win this game without him, and that's why you have to manage him, and he has to learn to protect himself. I think it's a little bit of everything. And let's not forget, they have a terrible offensive line as well.
Yeah, terrible offensive line.
I mean, if he's one of the best weapons in football, like, how else are you supposed to utilize him? Like, you want him to play to his strengths, right? So, I mean, once again, like, the play was him kind of running out of bounds. It wasn't like, was he going to slide there on that? I mean, and he's made plays out of the pocket before where he just gets out of the pocket and he starts creating plays. So it didn't happen on one of those plays. It just happened on a random play towards the sideline. I don't know.
Maybe
you can't go to the well too many times, though, Jay. That's the problem. You keep going to the well over and over and over. A guy gets banged up. That shoulder gets banged up. It gets banged up 2 weeks from now. It gets banged up 3 weeks from now. Now, all of a sudden, the injuries start to pile up, and then he becomes RG3 again, or he becomes Cam Newton, where you just beat him to a point where he doesn't even get to his 10th year.
Yeah, I mean, maybe our tolerance for risk at the quarterback position is going to have to go up because it is now a dual threat position. Those are the guys getting drafted up high, the dual threat quarterbacks.
But that's where you have to do a better job as a team builder to say, like, if our guys has a chance of getting hurt, like, how do we win games without him? Credit the 49ers. They had Jimmy Garoppolo. Trey Lance gets hurt. All the Bears have is Trevor Siemian.
That is Mike Tannenbaum, former GM of the New York Jets. And guess who we have coming up